lesson 4 shapes and parameters walkthrough. So in this one it says that when you run these blocks, they're not quite right. One is longer than the other, but it's not the right way. We want to make the second rectangle longer. So we have more parameters now that we can work with the rectangle, and we'll also have them with the ellipse. So besides having the X and Y location where we're going to plot the shape, we also now will have the width and the height, so we can control how wide and how tall each of these shapes are. So this red one, the width is fine. I need it to be higher though. So you can see it says WH. So width is there and then height. So this is X, Y, width, height. I'm going to make it 250 and run it, and now it looks right. In this one, you have a green ellipse, and it wants you to code an orange ellipse behind the green one. So remember that when we do this, if it's in the background, it needs to go first. And then we're going to play around with the size a little bit. We're going to keep it at the 200, 200 because we want it behind it, but we want one that is taller than it is wide. So let's try 200 and let's leave the 400 and see what happens. That's silly. Try 220. That's fairly similar to that. That's good enough. Sometimes you want to fill the entire screen with a color. For that, we can use background. It covers everything. So if we run this, the background, you can see background yellow. It fills in everything for us. We don't have to tell it anything other than the background part. But we can change the color too. Now, there's ones that you can choose from in here. You can also type in any valid color name. So it wants you to type in orange. And then there's a little challenge. There's a purple square that's covered up by the background. Can you change the order of the code so you can see both purple and blue? If you put background first, which makes the most sense because it's the very first layer, and reset it and run it, you should see both squares. And number 5, you're going to see a green circle that shows up. So it wants you to use a black background to make a background behind the green circle. All you need to do is click or drag out a background, type in black, and there you go. In this one, you're going to be doing some debugging. Your grass is not long enough. There's a little cliff here you could fall off. We don't want a cliff to fall off. So we need to change something about this rectangle. So if we look, let's find that green grass rectangle. Let's look at the order. This is the X, this is the Y, this is the width, and this is the height. So the width is how long it goes across the screen. And the screen is 400 pixels. So this 200 is wrong. We need that width to be 400 to take up the entire screen. All right, so some practices. There are some hidden shapes in here, but right now when you run it, the red is covering everything. So we need to debug this code and put it in the right order. So let's get this red ellipse and put it at the very end. Or very beginning, sorry, because that's the very back layer. If you look at the picture, it should be a red circle, and then an orange one on top of that, and then a yellow one on top of that, then a green one, blue, purple, and then pink. Whew, okay. So, the violet one is too big. It's in the right place. That's the last color, is this violet, pinkish, very light purple color. It's huge. We need it to be smaller. If you look, these go size down, down, down. So it's down by, it looks like 60, 40, 60, we'll go 60 down from that, so try making it, I don't like that that pops up, 40 by 40 instead of 400 by 400. Okay, and our red one is now gone because it's the wrong size. This one needs to be 400, 400. There we go. Now we have that beautiful rainbow. Missing shapes. So let's do another debug here. There is nothing showing up. We need this image to show up. This last rectangle, what is this? 500. 500's not even on the screen. Should these be 50? Let's try changing all of these to 50 to begin with, because that has to be a typing error. Because that's the X location, and 500's off the screen. Makes me think that that's just an error. Okay, so that works. But if they're all right on top of each other, they're not quite right. So we have this big one in the back at 50, 50. Maybe this next one's going to have to move over to 60 and then 70. See if that's doing it. Yeah, that's doing it. 80, 90, 100. Okay, and now we need to do the same thing. We got to move them down just a hair here. So we start at 50. Let's do 60, 70, 80, 90, 100. There we go. Got that shape. So it's 50, 50, 60, 60, 70, 70, 80, 80, 90, 90, 100, 100. And this one is a creative one. You can finish it any way you want. I'm not going to go through that with you. The assessment. You have a cloud. It's wider than it is tall. If we look at our cloud right here, this is the X, Y with height. This has got to be wider. It's backwards. So 200, 100, and there we go. And I'm not going to go through the challenges with you, but they show you how to do all of these. So you can do those on your own.